Hey guys, welcome to the show. Jeremy's just getting
I'm gonna need that, aren't I?
yeah,
Let me just get it
checked
shared.
and shared. Happy let's see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Today's
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday. Happy 4th day of school, everybody, to teachers and students. Yeah.
How
I hope
how are the
it's a
girls?
good
How are the girls starting off? Pretty good.
fine. I mean, I guess just fine.
Yeah.
Nothing bad, nothing great. Well, Kaylin really likes her chemistry teacher. She comes home every night and tells us something that he talked about.
Yeah. Most of it doesn't have anything to do with chemistry, which I
Mm,
found interesting.
yeah, it was interesting.
But it seems pretty cool. It seems fun. All right,
Yeah.
we're good in there. So,
Okay.
we'll say hello and we'll kind of get started, and then we're gonna bring in some special guests to talk about D23.
Ooh.
This one will be different than our regular weekly live streams. If you've done one of those, they have some structure of like,
This is structure.
it will actually. I've put a lot into this. We've got all kinds of fun notes and images and stuff to show y'all. And but what we're going to focus on is D23 and the announcements. And we're going to have somebody who was there at D23, so we're going to get some of their reactions, and then we're just going to have a fun conversation, really. So feel free to get involved in the comment section. We did the episode on Tuesday, but we recorded it on Sunday. We had less than 12 hours to really prepare for it after the announcements. We were just getting back from the trip, so we didn't get to look at a lot of stuff and get a little more additional details. And then, of course, so much this week through conversation and all has been happening. So we will discuss a lot of that. But, just to get started, hey, John and Amy.
Hey, Amy.
John, you're at Busch Gardens, correct? Eating food? I believe so. But yeah, so hopefully this will be fun. They're going to join us here around 7:15. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Well, you got our Halloween Horror Night tickets today.
We did.
So we will be going September 12th.
Mm-hmm.
We are very excited for that. The girls are excited.
Mm-hmm. We got Express Pass, so I can
pass.
do every single house.
This will be the first year that you and I are getting Express Pass.
Yeah. We didn't need it last year. And we saw the houses that we wanted to see, but it was, everybody else is having them, and
yeah,
I'm like, whatever. It's just hard because it's almost double the price of a regular ticket, and we had to buy regular tickets because we are not pass holders anymore.
Right. And so yeah, and we're going with 6 other folks that all got Express Pass.
So
we're like, we might as well get it, but it'll be the first year that we do all 10 houses, we would assume. But even in the past, we've, accomplished 8 without Express Pass, but we were pass holders, so we went to the Stay and Scream early. Of course, you can pay for that if you're not a pass holder. And if you have any questions about Halloween Horror Nights, we can always answer them because this will be our 4th. This will be our 4th year.
Nice.
Yeah, because they didn't have it in 2020, right? Because of COVID,
right?
But we were pass holders. That's when they gave us all that extra. We got 4 extra months out of that, which was dang good. And then, first year we went was 2021. Our first ever house was Beetlejuice.
That was amazing.
Well, not yours. You went when you were a kid or younger, right? Not a kid, but
oh yeah, I did with my brother
or something.
Yeah.
Or were you a teen?
I don't remember.
Were you of legal age?
We drove, my brother and I.
Okay,
so
you were at least 16 with that one. Yeah, and honestly, if you ever have questions, John knows a lot about Halloween Horror Nights. You can
probably more than we do.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, especially when it comes to the food, which
absolutely
is very, very good there. I like a lot of their creepy food.
We did go to Costco.
We did.
And I have Jack and Sally on. And they have not only their Halloween stuff out, but they had lanterns, if anybody's a Costco person, for Christmas, and they were Mickey. Well, they have lanterns that are Halloween ones, and they had Mickey, but they had Jack and Sally, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's only $40, and I got it.
Yeah. That thing's really cool.
It really is.
And then they have one with Mickey, Goofy, and I think it was Donald.
Yes,
right? So were we going to get that one? Just keep the one?
I don't know.
Jack and Sally's probably
we'll see.
enough. Rhonda is wearing, I guess, well, no, because these aren't technically Halloween, right? I mean, this isn't, I feel like
I am the weirdo that I wear it during Halloween,
Only.
or like my fall, and like yeah,
I tend to as well.
I don't really pull it out. I guess because I have other ones that I feel like I so.
Yeah. I mean, same. We went to Character Warehouse on the way home
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday. No,
Mm-hmm.
we went there Saturday, didn't we?
Saturday, and not on
And
the way home. On
yeah, on the way to
the way to
Dockside.
Dockside.
I got the this haunted mansion jersey for $30 minus 20% for APs.
Mm-hmm.
She got a different haunted mansion jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Got a pillow for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 pairs of
the
Crocs
boys.
there.
The boys, the
Yeah.
Oogie Boogie's boys.
Yeah, Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and we talk about some of that. Tomorrow's episode is a long one. Hope
Buckle
you
up.
enjoy it. It comes in at almost 2 hours, but we had a lot that we were supposed to talk about, and then I just talked about a bunch of random stuff, pretty much.
As
right?
always.
I did. I'm hyped up. I'm a little hyper today, so bear with me. Mostly because I'm excited about tonight. Like I'm really excited to have conversations about, the announcements and everything that's been going on. I mean, if you're on social media, I mean, all you've seen, if you follow Disney accounts the past several days, of course, is all of this. Everything that was announced, especially when it comes to Monsters Inc. Land, Muppets, all that stuff. We'll get into that stuff. We'll discuss some of that. So it is a lengthy one, but we do talk about that. We talk about Orlando Informer meetup on that episode tomorrow. We covered Swan Reserve, our first stay there, which was amazing. We talk Halloween food. I don't know how John Self does it.
I don't either.
I really don't. And he maintains his figure. So I mean, at this point, we'll have to have just John on again sometime to like talk about that, because I don't understand. I ate so much last weekend, and this isn't a joke. I gained 5 pounds during our trip, like 5 legitimate pounds. And it stinks because I had taken it off. Like leading up, like I've been getting really good again about trying to eat healthy at home and eat less. And I'm trying to still like battle sugar cravings and stuff. And, but now like I have ice cream every night. You know that the only time I almost ever ate ice cream in the past 10 years.
Is that your parents' house?
Is my parents. Yeah, is with my parents.
They would always get it every night. They would get it out every night.
And it was like a special treat.
When did you become your dad?
I don't know, man. I did that earlier today. I made a turkey and cheese sandwich, and I put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. And it's like the
I'm like,
simplest. It's literally, sometimes you just need to eat food, right? Like you just need to put, like, you need to nourish your body.
You do.
And I was like, well,
that is how I eat.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I should probably eat something, because we're not going to eat until after we do the live stream tonight, so we won't eat till
He's
whatever.
Gonna make taco salad.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
And so I was like, well, I'll eat something. So I got a keto hamburger roll, which just these tiny little garbage rolls anyway. They're okay.
They're not bad,
but they're not keto. I mean, they're not non-keto. Like I want the carbs. And I just put turkey and cheese on it. That's it. And then I put it on a paper towel, and put it in the microwave. And I turned around and I said, oh my God, I'm my dad. Because that's what he does. Yes, every time they come to our house, I make sure I have deli meat and I've got rolls. And he makes my mom and him one. It's adorable, but he makes these little sandwiches and he just heats them up. And Rhonda was like, why are you heating that up? And I was like, well, it releases all the flavor in the meat, right? Because Firehouse does it. And Firehouse knows what they're doing. There's something about when you heat up deli meat. Okay. I'm telling you, it gets like juicy. It's amazing. See, John, yeah, not professional playing weight. That's right. He was a tennis star, right? John, tennis. Yeah. Okay. Fasting after a long day of just eating helps a food blogger to keep you alive. Yeah, man.
That's what I would do, I think, too. And that's almost what I did. A lot of times when we come off the weekends, I feel like, I'm not going to lie about that. Like when I go to work,
yeah.
I mean, but I've always eaten to live. I've never lived to eat. Like,
oh, that's like a regular saying. You didn't just make that up. That was amazing. Did you just make that up?
No, I don't know, but I've been saying it for years.
I eat to live. I don't live to eat.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I do both.
I know. I'm that person that needs to nourish my body. Yeah. So I have to put food in it. But I do feel like when I come off the weekends and I've eaten a lot, I've totally at work barely eat.
Yeah.
And almost, I feel like John, I kind of fast, and then
Yeah.
I just eat so I don't pass out, and then 90% of the time I get home and brush my teeth, and then just so then I can't eat on weekends.
I know, and we do.
And then I'm
did.
full. I'm like, oh
Yeah. I mean, if you just because we're waiting for our guests to come in here in about 5 minutes. So we talk about Orlando Informer meetup tomorrow, and we talk about food, and we talk about the unlimited food, right? And how much I ate. I don't think I probably can't off the top of my head. I'm just trying to think real quick, right? Had taco bar at Cafe La Bamba, and I probably won't be able to go in order. Taco bar at Cafe La Bamba, right? We did I think mac and cheese and a wing at Finnegan's. By the way, John, one of my favorite buffalo wings that I've had. It was just perfect buffalo wing. Like the flavor, the size, everything about it took me back to being like 20 or 21, I mean, sitting in a grungy bar, eating buffalo wings and drinking beer and watching live music or playing live music.
Okay.
Like it captured a moment in time. Stopped by Louis for pizza twice. Did Cafe 4. We did pizza and fettuccine Alfredo.
It was not good. That was not good. The pizza was good.
We did let's see what else we did. Cinnabons, whole Cinnabons. We ate. We saved some Cinnabon donuts for breakfast with cream cheese dipping sauce. Let's see, what else did we eat that whole time? I'm trying to think of some of the places you had to go into. I mean,
we did not get it.
Thunder Falls Terrace.
We did not get a turkey leg.
No,
we probably should have.
I had multiple pretzels, multiple churros. At Thunder Falls, they gave you a plate that had a half a chicken. Half a chicken, seriously, like cooked, and I mean it was dead. And then it had 2 ribs, giant ribs, which were very good.
They weren't giant.
They were pretty big.
They were decent size.
Okay, they had the baby back style and flavor, but they looked like spare ribs that haven't been trimmed. Based on when it's the bigger spare rib, and not like the baby backs. But they're pretty good. We also on that plate was half an ear of corn and potatoes.
Yeah,
right.
It was.
A couple butter beers.
I had 1.
I had 2. I'm trying to think and this is still, I feel like scratching the surface in the little meetup area, right? I had nachos. They had a nacho bar. I had some, I think some smoked macaroni and cheese.
You had
I had a pretzel in there.
I took a bite of that. I had some fried rice.
Yeah, egg fried rice. We missed out on the egg rolls. That's the one we kept waiting for them to come around with. What else did we eat? It was so much. It was so much, but it was so good. And we spend about the last probably 15-20 minutes tomorrow talking about the meetup. But spoiler alert, it's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Like it was amazing. It's one of the best events I've ever done and probably ever will do. I like, other than it just being longer for the sake of being longer, I can't, I have no notes. You know what I mean? Like I have no recommendations. If Orlando Informer called me tomorrow and was like, hey, what recommendations do you have to make it better? I would be like, could it go to 4 a.m? I don't know. Like that would literally be it. I was just blown away. Yeah. And
I wouldn't want to go to 4 a.m.
Well, yeah, but ours, because it's summer, you could get in at 5 to the parks.
Right.
But the parks didn't close till 9. And then that's when the party kind of really started, and most food came out at 10. And then it was closing at 1:30. These ones that are coming up in November and December, the parks close at 7 or 8 and still go to 12:30 or 1:30. So you get that extra hour. So I thought it was awesome. Yeah. I loved it. Let's see. What else is going on? Oh, are you all going? Oh, there we go. Oh, our guests are here.
Yay. How do do you know how to do this?
I have never done this. We're going to figure it out. I got a little button that says add to stage. Let's put it in.
Oh, it does work.
And we've got Scott and Michelle.
Hey, hello. Guys.
Hi.
Can you hear us?
We can. Can you hear us okay?
Yes. I'm going to turn the volume just a little bit on our end.
Thank you all for joining.
Yes.
Sorry for the delay.
Michelle, you look amazing as always.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. I'm really tired.
I bet you guys are. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. You catching up on some some sleep?
Did you
Never?
sleep out? Did you sleep? How was California and D23? Did y'all sleep at all?
Not really. No.
What is this sleep you speak about, Ron? Not for me.
We're still catching up because we did the red eye. So we got in early.
Tuesday we got in at like 6:30 in the morning, but we left there at 10:30 their time Monday night. So we flew all night, got home, and then by the time we got our car and got back to the house, it was after 8 o'clock, and then had to try to unwind to sleep for a few hours.
We're still battling East Coast, West Coast time because there's that 3-hour difference.
Yes.
So I'm hoping by the weekend we're going to be balanced out again. I hope.
Well, especially coming back this way, because you lose, what, 6 hours technically, right?
No.
No, it doesn't work that way?
Three.
Coming back. No, but wait, what was I thinking?
You were thinking Hawaii.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
I've never been to Hawaii.
Rhonda has.
I have.
She likes to rub it in whenever she gets a chance that she's been.
I know. I don't, but it is a 6-hour difference. And depending on the time change, because they don't time change. So sometimes it's 5 hours, sometimes it's 6.
Yikes. That's a lot.
So
thank you guys for joining. We did, I mean, you guys were out at D23. So one of the things that we want to discuss with you as we go through some of the announcements as it relates to Horizons and the parks and experiences. One is I'd be excited for each one to hear from you guys what the reaction was there. You know what I mean? For some of these announcements, you know, I mean, I'll be interested if any just were like, boo. We'll see, but that's one of the things we want to discuss, and then we just want to chat, you know, some of these announcements and what we think about them.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we are in.
We're ready to
go. Before I guess we get into it, where can people find y'all on the internet and social media if they're looking?
themainstreetmouse.com or the Main Street Mouse everywhere on social media.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And make sure you go out and follow them if you're not already. Chances are you probably already are. But all right, we'll start first. And we won't talk much about this one, but Disney announced, which I think is crazy, by 2031 that we're getting 4 more ships for Disney Cruise Line.
Yes, I was actually really surprised, and I think a lot of people in the room went like,
"Yeah, there was a gap."
Yeah, it was. It was one of those moments. I would say out of the panel that people were not. At least I was not expecting. Maybe I'm just not in the know when it comes to the cruise line.
No, there's so many already in the works that we didn't expect that announcement because I figured they have enough that's going to come out before even the next D23. So I figured the next D23 when they make the future announcements or something like that. So I was kind of shocked.
Wow. What was that pretty much it? He was, hey, we're having 4 new ships come by 2031. And I mean, did they get anything?
Well, because there's the 2 that are already coming that we know about, the Destiny and the Treasure.
Yep.
But he didn't say anything specific about these like 4 new ships that are coming. Yeah. So it was more like, hey, this is coming, like more to follow. They didn't say a whole lot.
No,
unless I missed it. I mean, it was that room. I was like, just totally sidebar you guys for a second. Being in that room was insane.
Yeah,
I mean, instead of doing like previous years, they would do like a panel type of format, and it would be like announcement, concept art, video, whatever. But this time it was a production. There was a band, there's music, special guests.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was something.
Yeah.
It was really something.
Actually, All For One is the one that introduced the 4 cruise ships. So they had All For One appear in the middle of the arena stage, sing one of their songs. I swear. No, what they sing? No, I swear. I can't remember what song it was.
The one song they have that's
I can't remember which one it was, but they appeared out of nowhere. They performed their song, and that's when Josh goes, I couldn't think of anybody better than to announce our 4 new ships and All For One.
And it's funny. So I had like a influencer sitting next to me, and she says to her friend, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so old," because they were out in the 90s, you know. And I didn't say anything. I'm just like, "Oh my goodness," but yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I didn't even tell Rhonda, but I'll probably make her watch it. I watched the Legends ceremony because they put that out on Disney Plus, And first of all, it was incredible. Like, I thought it was so good, so well done. But I was just thinking, like, if that's what the Legend ceremony looked like, I can't imagine what the Horizons looked like, because again, yeah, they pulled out every last stop they could. And so do you know how many people sit in there in the Honda Center?
Well,
Roughly
12,000.
12,000.
It wasn't the full arena. It was probably about half, maybe a little bit over half.
Yeah.
They put the stage kind of in the middle. It's a hockey arena, so it's not overly large.
Gotcha.
And then they had the stage, but the stage is, I'd never seen video walls in that so large an arena in my life. Of all the concerts I've been to, everything I've done, I've never seen where you have screens that go all the way up to the 4th level, the 400 level. Where people are sitting. So it was quite a production. They really did a lot, and it looked fantastic. It really did.
We sat down, and I was like, this is way different than usual.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, when I was watching that Legend ceremony, I was looking at the backdrop to start, and it took me a while. I'm like, is that like real? Is that a screen? And then it finally changed, but it looked even just so realistic. I was like, dang. So
it was crazy.
And very clear.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. In general, and we'll get back to the stuff, but this is just the way I do things. In general, did you like this structure better than in the past? Like overall, because I know they changed up a lot of stuff. What did you like? Kind of the former way they did it, this way, or there bits and pieces that were better or not better?
You go first.
I'll let you go first.
I liked it personally. I thought the production added to the whole experience of being there. I mean, a lot of these people were in previous years, these panels were included in your ticket to the expo at the time when it was an expo. So now that you're actually paying, a lot of these people paid an additional fee to be able to go to these events and see these panels and such. So that's why I think they did have to step it up with the show quality of it. And nobody can put on a show like Disney. I mean, regardless of what anybody thinks, nobody can do the show quality. I mean, just to see, I was at the movies and I was at the Parks Experience panel, so I got to see both nights. And the way they did it, it was first class, and it really they knocked it out of the park with the way I think they did it.
Awesome.
All right,
Michelle.
I'm gonna make a big statement. Are you ready?
Okay.
I'm going to say, out of all the D23 events we've covered, this was the best one. And I know that's a big statement because they're all pretty good. I was concerned about how it was going to be getting over to the Honda Center after being on the floor all day. And, you know, there's panels and such going on all day long. So they started making announcements about 4:30 that the shuttles were arriving, and if you're going to go to the Honda Center, everybody start heading for the buses. So getting there wasn't bad, much easier than I thought it was going to be. But I'll be honest and say getting out of there was a different story, because you have all these people leaving at the same time to get back on the buses to get back to the convention center. But overall, I loved how they did the presentations. It was, you know, like they had the music and the band and the celebrity guests and all that. I thought it was fantastic, and I kind of hope they do that again, because it really added to the experience. Not that the parks panels weren't good before, but I really enjoyed it. I don't know. I thought it was a really good event this year.
And what she was talking about as far as leaving the event, you got to remember we had 2.5 hours before the event for people to arrive on buses, but all 12,000 people are leaving at one time. So they all had to get out there and get buses. But honestly, even though it was the first time they did something like this, Disney did a great job of making sure everybody got out of there. It was just more of finding out where you needed to be afterwards and getting in line and just waiting. But the lines moved really quickly, actually. By the second night, they had it much better than the first night on Friday. So.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty great.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Love to hear that. All right, we'll get back to some park news. We'll go overseas. We'll do international first. And Disneyland Paris is going to get a Lion King ride, which sounds very, very interesting. So my thing is not working. I was going to show you guys artwork. So see concept art here. Yeah. So we have the concept art here, right? Which of course is concept art. And that's one thing I think people need to really understand as we go through all of this is kind of like, you know, the sales pitch in a way. Because then they also had the model. Everything is going slow on my end. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Which of course looks a little bit different, but you guys got to see the model and stuff in person, correct? Or did you get around to put it out?
They added it to Imagineering the next day. So they had like an Imagineering exhibit all weekend. And then it looks kind of bare a little bit. and it made sense afterwards because then they put the displays in there on Sunday for everybody to see. So and it's kind of weird, like when you, like you said, when it's concept art, it doesn't always come out looking exactly how they start, you know, from the renderings, I guess you could say. But seeing the model as opposed to seeing just the art, you can kind of grasp the size of what it's going to be.
Yeah. Exactly. Was there excitement for this one? A lot of excitement. I mean, I didn't have this on my radar. I don't know who did that. This might happen.
I didn't really think of anything international. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of anything international. I kind of wish we were getting the Lion King thing here or at Disneyland, so it'd be easier for us to get to see it because
I know
we haven't been to the international parks.
It seems as though the crowd was most like hyped for Disneyland and Disney World as far as announcements. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the way they did the announcement. I was going to say the way they did the announcements. Okay. The way they did the announcements, they didn't just do like all international, then all Walt Disney World, then all Disneyland. They kind of jumped around throughout the day. Okay. So like they would announce this, and then you might go to Walt Disney World, and you're back to Disneyland, and then Disneyland Paris, and then okay, we're back to the cruise line. So it was kind of a jumping around. So they kept people hyped up because you didn't know what was coming next.
Yeah.
Okay, that's smart.
That's cool.
That's very smart.
That's really cool.
Yeah, Scott, if only we had a kingdom that was, you know, devoted to animals in Walt Disney World that they could put some sort of Lion King ride. Maybe they should get on that. Some sort of animal-based kingdom park. That's genius.
A great idea. They should do that concept.
You know what, Jeremy? You're onto something there.
Joe Roby would be great to get involved in that.
Oh, he would be. He would.
Joe Roby, yeah.
I've heard of that. Yeah. I've heard of that guy. He's an he's an up and comer.
He is. He'll be a future legend.
Keep an eye on that one.
Yes, future legend. Okay, I will say that Legends thing, that was a very emotional award ceremony.
Oh, did you cry?
Holy smokes. I mean, just everything about it was incredible. The people they had present the awards were all like closest and best friends. And like, and then the acceptance speeches, it was good. It was really good. We might just put it on after while we're eating or something. But
okay.
All right, we'll go out to Shanghai Disney Resort, and they are getting a new Spider-Man attraction where Peter Parker has gotten himself into a bit of a tough situation. We're along for the adventure as we join him on a high-speed coaster ride to get out of trouble.
That looks fun.
Cool, right?
Yeah, may have to go.
Spider-Man. I know you're dying, Scott, because that's not here.
I know Becky's on, and Becky, I need a trip to Shanghai.
Yes.
I think I love that. Fair.
Yes. Yeah. And then
go ahead.
I mean, what was it? There was excitement in the room for that one, or again, it's just international, so people are kind of just caught off guard. Like, am I supposed to be happy or not? I'll never get there.
See, and okay, so that's how I kind of felt because, like, I don't know how attainable it is for me to go overseas, but it's like I would love to. A lot of these concepts, I think a lot of people feel the same way. Like, it's really cool. Don't know if I'm going to get there. Right. But it's still really cool.
And that is one thing I can say. They did do all the Marvel announcements together. So we got the international Marvel announcements as well as the domestic ones, which was kind of cool. Yeah. They all did them at one time. And we were dealing with that. We were dealing with Deadpool interrupting Josh. I mean, there was a lot going on.
Oh, God. How cool is that? Yeah, what was that like? I mean, I've just seen, little shaky clips and stuff on social, but that had to have been cool. Yeah, Deadpool crashed the panel.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think I have the full video. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah, actually, he was funny. He was really funny. Like, he was holding up signs that says, like, fix the Yeti. And
that's funny.
Or like the dragons, something about dragons at Disney World and Disneyland catching fire. I mean, so they allowed like Deadpool to kind of poke fun at things going on at the park. Right. So I thought that was pretty great.
That's cool.
You gotta laugh at yourself sometimes. Yep. And it was kind of funny that Disney did that. So I like that.
Yeah, because they never really have. I mean, like Universal's always done a good job of that, I feel like, but Disney's never done that, and now it took Deadpool to
right.
Well, they can't really do full Deadpool, so they gotta take the little bit of Deadpool they can.
There was no F-bombs or anything. I mean, we would do it within reason.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. All right, let's see. Next, over in Hong Kong, they're also getting a Spider-Man ride, which some sort of elevator saving ride. I mean, is this supposed to almost mimic from Homecoming and them going to DC and the Washington Monument type of thing?
I wonder. That's the impression I got. That might be the inspiration for it, is what I was thinking. Yeah. And then you got Doc Ock, who's going to be a part of that, which I think is a great villain to bring into the Disney parks.
Yeah.
And see how that. So I'll be really interested to see that. So again, it's another international park, and I wanted to see the Avengers campuses in the other countries. So I guess eventually I'm gonna have to get Michelle on a plane. We're gonna have to fly somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Becky says never say never. I don't know if it was in direct response to your comment, but I put it up there, so now it is.
Because that's how I feel. Right. I want to go to Paris, but I'm like, no, it's never going to happen.
I want to go to Paris too, Rhonda. And since they opened that new Fantasy Springs over in Tokyo, and they have like the Tangled ride, you guys know. I really want to go. So I'm hoping one day.
Research trip. All 4 of us should go.
Research, guys. Research.
I think that would be amazing.
We'll hit the internationals. Did you know this, Michelle, about Tangled, that one of the actresses who tried out to play the voice, I just saw because she was there, was Busy Phillips? We love Busy Phillips.
I love her.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. It was on TikTok from Disney Parks, or it might have been their Instagram, and they were doing trivia with her out in front of the castle. And then she did kind of a trivia back, and that was one of them. She apparently tried for a part in both Tangled and Frozen.
Oh,
yeah, and obviously did not get either one of them. So
can't win them all.
Busy on her voiceovers, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move to Disneyland, which I know probably garnered a ton of excitement, especially when they announced the first ever Walt Disney audio animatronic.
Yes.
I mean, how freaking cool!
Oh yeah. But I mean, like, they can bring him to life.
I know. Exactly. And he's supposed to talk about like all the magical things that went into like planning the parks, and like hopes and wishes and dreams for all these things. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be one of those attractions that you're probably gonna cry within the first couple of minutes, and I know I will, because I cry at everything.
But can you imagine the pressure of Imagineering to create that? I mean, they've done some great animatronics, no doubt, but there's going to be so much pressure to make sure that one is on, because the fans will, if it's not 100% what everybody's expecting, they're going to. But I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to hit it out of the park, because I mean, that's what they do. And I mean, to pay tribute to Walt in this way. I know you had read somewhere on social media that some people didn't think Walt would like something like this, and when he was here, he probably wouldn't have. But I think,
but they also didn't have the technology.
Yeah, I think to honor him, I think this is a great thing, and I know it's gonna get rotated eventually with Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes, but I can't wait to see that, and hopefully when it comes out, we can get out there to see that right away.
And also, speaking of the Walt animatronic, so in Imagineering, they had kind of the newer technology of what goes into animatronics, and they had like just from the shoulders up, it was Elsa, and it was the technology that they were using in Tokyo, and she was singing "Let It Go." I have that video, by the way. And her mouth, you know how like here in the Frozen ride, it's a screen of them.
Yes.
This is full on features. It was incredible to watch. I think I watched her sing "Let It Go" like 4 times, because I'm just like, this is crazy. It's like the cartoon came out, and it was right there. So if they can do that with Frozen and whatever, I think they're going to really do justice to Walt. I really do.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then I know originally there was some concern that how are they going to do the voice? Could they implement AI or whatever? But then I did see that, I don't know if it was official from Disney, that they're going to use only archived audio, so every word will be from Walt. Which is awesome, because I mean, I've been Rhonda doesn't know AI, and I use it for some things, and I told her AI is so crazy, they could have had a screen with Walt Disney himself coming out to present this entire panel. Like, they could have had Walt Disney present a Walt Disney animatronic, and you wouldn't even understand that it wasn't real, that was just created on a computer.
Crazy.
Like, that's how good it is.
Scary too.
It's kind of really scary.
Exactly what I said. It's scary.
Yeah. I mean, it's super scary. So, but that sounds super exciting. Did get a little bit, I guess, more info on the Avatar land that is coming out to Disneyland.
Mhm.
I'll be honest, I didn't dive deep into this one. I mean, I know that this was already announced that there would be, what did they say then? An Avatar experience or something before?
Yeah.
Now they're
Yes.
saying this is a land. So
Land, right? And it's
Yeah.
inspired by the second movie, The Way of
Second
Water.
movie, yeah.
To where ours is more inspired by the first movie. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great, though. I think it's going to be, again, another impressive area once they get that all said and done. And we thought Avatar here was great when they opened that how many years ago. So imagine where they're going to be in a couple more years when this opens at Disneyland. I mean, I think it's going to blow away what we already have.
It
Yeah.
seems like whenever they add something new, it's almost like a little pinch of a step up from the last one.
Yes.
And I'm really curious to see because, our Pandora here is beautiful, especially at night, how everything glows. So I'm curious to see if they're going to use that kind of technology out in Disneyland as well. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah. And I feel like out there, because I know right now, when they built Pandora, it was over here, it was built like, hey, day and night's completely different. Well, when's the last time anybody got to see it at nighttime? For one.
Not lately.
What are the parks
here?
Oh yeah, I know. What are the parks like out there? Because I would assume that they don't have to deal with having an Animal Kingdom where, I mean, again, Animal Kingdom I'm sure closes some because of the amount of people that are visiting, which I know it's the lowest for here. But also you have animals you got to contend with. Yeah. You wouldn't have that problem out there though, right? I mean, they could keep Avatar Land open as late as they want and do all that.
Yeah, that's a really good point because they don't have to worry about any logistics like we do here. Yeah. So I bet you, just a guess, that their new area out there is going to come to life at night because they're going to have more of an opportunity than what we have here. Just a guess.
And Avengers Campus does that. Avengers Campus comes to life at nighttime more than during the day in the same park. So I would assume it'd be the same with the new Avatar area.
Yeah, maybe.
Awesome. Yeah, I love this quote from Becky here with the AI. Hey, with great technology comes great responsibility.
That's a big one.
So Becky and Stanley quoted there.
Yes.
Yes, that's the perfect mashup. Also heading out to Disneyland is the first Coco ride. Boat ride is coming out there. I know for most everything, details were minimal. It's just a bunch of concept art. Later, you got some models, but there really isn't a lot of info. Was there any chatter about this really at all? Like, where is it going? What?
You want official chatter or chatter?
You're allowed to tell me.
Okay, so here's the thing. When we were in California, I felt so disconnected from everything that was going on here and what people were saying. So like the past couple of days, I've been trying to read feedback just to see what people are saying as opposed to, because like you said, Disney did not give out a ton of information. No. And so some of the predictions, I guess you could say, some people are thinking it's going to be a boat ride similar to like Three Caballeros.
That's what artwork looked like.
The boat looked like it
like
too,
that. It just which of course everybody screams for that over here.
Exactly. Yes, but here, so now everybody's turning this into like conspiracy theories, thinking that does that mean that the Three Caballeros is going to turn into the Coco ride, and and all these things remain to be seen because they did not say a whole lot. But people were excited. I will say in the room, people were excited about the Coco ride.
They were. They did. There was a lot of pop for that one when he announced it. So.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Like, I mean, Coco here, I think something like that would be wonderful. I mean, I've always contested that. I don't know if you could replace Three Caballeros because where are you going to put a queue? You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine that queue having to run all the way outside, or they'd have to take it to backstage areas and then create something hidden. You know what I mean? Like almost like the extended queue with Rise of Resistance. Have you ever had to go through
really good point, Jeremy. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because they're not going to tear out the restaurant to put a queue in because that would make no sense. And there's not enough shopping space in there to eliminate that for a queue. So they would have to run it outside and maybe make a building backstage that people would have to stand in for that queue.
People just like to guess. So I guess that remains to be seen what they do.
Yeah. And I mean, last time we were at Epcot, we rode Three Caballeros, and I just told Ron, I was like, I still wish we had more of these that are not e-ticket attractions, but they will consume some people, but it's never a long wait and it's a break, and you go. Like every time we go to Epcot, we can ride that.
Yep.
We don't know about everything else, so like it's part of me would not want to see that go away if you have a park with nothing but e-ticket attractions, it's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah.
You know,
and
so
I think it's kind of a hidden gem back there too. Not everybody thinks about going on it all the time. But us seasoned people, we do like that. But I remember when we first moved here, I remember thinking, why doesn't this attraction get more hype? Because it really is great.
Mhm.
I mean, I love it. So
And it's air conditioning.
It's air conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
Rhonda naps. It's one of her top 5 napping spots, I think, is on
And Rhonda can sleep anywhere.
She really, really can. She was just asleep 2 minutes ago.
Not.
So expanding 2 new attractions to Avengers Campus out there. First one is Avengers Affinity Defense. This is going to be the big Thanos ride that has, and we'll chat about it in a second here. But and then the Stark Flight Lab. And it is saying construction begins next year on this expansion, and it will actually double the size of the land.
Yes.
Scott, what do you think about Avengers Affinity Defense? Because this has been around since they announced the original Avengers Campus, correct? And then it just goes silent, and then they bring something back up. Wasn't it supposed to be King Thanos?
It was, and that's who you will battle in this one towards the end. They said you would run into King Thanos towards the end of the attraction. They did say that the ride is different every time you're going to do it because of the way you do the jump. So I'm thinking it's more like Guardians here where you do the jumps. I think that's what this is based on, is the jumps from planet to planet. So you're going to Wakanda, you're going to go to Asgard, you're going to end up in New York. You're going to visit all these different places and searching. So what it is, basically it comes down to is the technology to jump from place to place has been stolen, and the Avengers have to find it. So they're recruiting people to help them go find this technology. So you might get a different Avenger every time. You might get a different land every time. So it's going to be a ride to where you can ride it over, and it won't be the same experience each and every time.
That's awesome. That sounds absolutely amazing. What do you think about the Stark Flight Lab? Because it looks like it's going to make me throw up.
So it reminds me a lot. Which ride is
Forbidden Journey.
Forbidden Journey.
Because it's got the armatures and the whole.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be great because I can only imagine what they're going to show that Tony Stark could be testing in there. I love that they announced Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Tony Stark to be a part of this attraction. The videos and stuff will be RDJ recording those for the attraction, which I think gives it a whole other thing that you have to go see it now. You have to see Robert Downey Jr. back as Tony. Well, he's also Doctor Doom in the MCU, so it's kind of cool to see him doing 2 things almost simultaneously with all this. I think they're both going to be great. I love Avengers Campus. I remember she was doing stuff, and I kept texting her pictures, and she's like, "You're still in Avengers Campus."
I was doing media stuff. He's running wild in the parks, and he's sending me, all the stuff. I'm like, "You're still at Avengers Campus?" He was there for like hours.
I was, because there's always something going on. There's always people coming around. There's always characters walking around.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun back there. So the fact that they're doubling the size of that to me is very exciting. I cannot wait for that to open. That is someplace I will have to be when it does open.
Oh, that sounds great. Hopefully maybe we'll be with you.
Yeah.
Hopefully with that one.
Research trip.
They're much much needed. I love it. All right, let's move to Walt Disney World. We'll start.
Yay.
Finally got a few updates, I feel like, on Test Track 3.0, which will open in 2025. Of course, it's now closed, and they are working on it. So they're saying, I saw, and this is straight from Disney's site, they're going to have 6 distinct exhibits in the queue for celebrating the people behind the vehicles that push the envelope and help get people to our next chapter in our motion journey. And then new show scenes will be added in the ride system, showcasing technological advances and how our lifestyles and relationships to mobility connect everyone. Sounds cool. Did you get anything else, really? Like, you didn't see anything else, right?
No, we got the date and those couple screens you showed.
What you showed, and they kind of moved on from there.
Did they even give a season, or was it just straight 2025?
2025. They did not get really specific about anything while we were out there.
I mean, it's all happening. It's not blue sky ideas. Josh did say when he opened the whole thing that night, he said, these are things that are either in the works or will be in the works shortly. Nothing here is blue sky. This is all coming for everybody. I know a lot of people after the last D23 are thinking, oh, we're not going to get half of what he said. I feel this time we are going to.
I think because they got so much backlash.
Yeah.
Because Walt Disney World, we didn't get a lot of positive or definite announcements last time.
Yeah.
It was maybe we're going to get this,
Yes.
maybe we're going to get that. And I think that these blue sky things confused a lot of people.
They did.
So that's why Josh made sure, and he mentioned it more than once, these are not blue sky.
Right.
These are things that are already broken ground, or they will be shortly. So he really tried to drive that point home.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, because that caused so much confusion. I just remember going out everywhere after the last one. It was just like, oh, we're getting this. Like, no, not getting
No, it was very confusing.
Yeah, very, very confusing. So it'd be very interested to see though how that turns out. One of the surprises I think very much for me was that we're getting a Spaceship Earth lounge.
I know. I wasn't expecting that.
No, I wasn't expecting
awesome.
That one at all. I thought Epcot was pretty much done. Honestly, I didn't think we were getting anything Epcot, so that was kind
of we didn't get a ton of news out of Epcot, but you got to remember they just finished a whole bunch of stuff, so we weren't anticipating that. So the lounge was kind of a pleasant surprise because we didn't think we were going to hear much about Epcot this time.
Yeah, very cool. They said that's coming in 2025. I went to a D23. I mean, you guys have probably been up there at some point to that like area they have on the backside of Spaceship Earth that with the windows and all. Like I went to a D23 event there. So I would assume that's where it's going.
We had a media years ago. I would assume that's where it is. Also.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's where. I mean, they have all these little hidden places that people don't even realize are there. So I think utilizing that space is probably what's gonna happen.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then I guess we kind of got more info on the Pirates Bar coming to Magic Kingdom. I mean, again, they just said 2025 it's coming, right? Like we told you about it last year, but now we're telling you about it again, and it is official.
So the walls are already up. They've already started working on that. It was, I think, 2 weeks ago. They took merchandise that was in the store at Pirates and moved it across to Tortuga Tavern like a pop-up. So that's already under construction. So I have a feeling we'll see that one relatively soon.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that and to see how that operates. I hope that both of these will have like menus, like full menus of food.
I hope so too.
Right?
Yeah.
I always like another place to eat. So
food is important,
Food is very important.
Is very important.
We're
it's one of the best parts of going to Disney. You got to try all the food.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
So it works out great.
Right.
That's right.
That's why I never gain weight at Disney.
No, I haven't either.
I think at least for us and probably you guys and maybe everybody out there, I think a Monsters Inc. land coming to Hollywood Studios was not potentially on anybody's bingo card, right?
Not at all.
No, and the coolest part was Billy Crystal came out, who of course is Mike Wazowski, and
that's amazing.
I have video of that, Rhonda. It is fantastic. And so we love monsters in our house. Like when my kids were little, they'd watch it over and over and over again. So we were not anticipating the land, but when Billy Crystal came out and they announced it, the place erupted. I mean, and then they closed it out with him singing, I wouldn't have nothing if I didn't have you. And he got a standing ovation at the end. It was so good.
I have to admit, I was hoping John Goodman was going to show up.
I know. We thought he was going to pop in for his part, but
he didn't. But it was great to see Billy Crystal. He walked out there covering up the one eye. Doing the whole thing with Mike Wazowski. So it was great.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, this will be interesting. Oh yeah. I mean, again, more concept art, but they're saying you're gonna get to walk alongside some of your favorite monsters, and of course, the rumor that has been around for years and years and years is the door coaster, and so they're doing it right. Like that's nuts. So first suspended coaster in a Disney park, which will be super cool.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Now here's where we really get to have some fun with some conversation, right? Because where is it going? If you've not heard, people are concerned about Muppets Courtyard and Muppets 3D. Did you hear such a thing, Michelle?
I've heard a little bit about that.
Bit. I was gonna try and mute the word Muppets in my social media just to get away from it. But it is a very fair question, because we don't know where this is going. They didn't say where it's going. Said what? They're starting work. Is this one starting work next year, I think?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, begin next year. So yeah, questions are, all right, we got Muppets Courtyard, we've got Animation Courtyard area and Launch Bay. It is, rumors all the time have been that it would replace Rock and Roller Coaster, a door coaster. Yeah. So just to have some fun, I went out and pulled up Google Earth and just mapped out some potential ideas. We can see what we think. So the first one, if it will show up here. This is the Muppets Courtyard area. Right. So this house is Pizza Rizzo, Muppets Courtyard, all that pretty much defunct shopping, and then Mama Melrose. So, this is probably pretty good. You've got a lot of the buildings in place. If you do look at, the way that Muppets 3D looks at the front, it looks a little bit like the front of Monstropolis, right? Like this kind of looks like. So,
well, my only problem with the Muppets and then people thinking it's that is because with Star Tours being on one side and Galaxy's Edge on the other, I think if ever that area's going to get ripped out, it's going to be ripped out to expand Star Wars. I don't think it's going to be an expansion.
Because there's a break in between the two.
Yeah, and I think they would want to connect Star Tours to Galaxy's Edge somehow. So I don't think the Muppets is the one, but what do I know? I'm not an imaginer.
Yeah.
So
it's funny you bring that up, because my other question was, is Star Tours in play, and would they potentially rip out all of Muppets Courtyard and Star Tours? I would be surprised, because I feel like how much they put into Star Tours with updating it as movies and shows come out. So I can't imagine we would lose that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I saw even people going, oh, go ahead.
Prediction of what I think. Now, I'm usually wrong, so I'm just going to say that out there. But
should I get my prediction first? No.
So my logic would be, so there's that Lightning McQueen little show way back behind Rock and Roller Coaster, and to me, it would make more sense to put it that away. The launch bay isn't getting used anyhow. Nope. And being that Toy Story Land is there, like Pixar to Pixar.
Connect the two.
Yeah, and have a walkway going from one to the other. To me, it just makes more sense to put it where the Pixar stuff is, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what so here mapped out is the launch bay. Now this leaves Little Mermaid, because they're bringing out a new show. I can't imagine they're going to demolish that. Disney Junior, of course, is still there. I think that's just a great spot for the kids. I don't know if they do anything there, but this would take out Launch Bay. And as you were saying, Michelle, I was thinking, well, you've got some cast member offices and buildings back here, but if they took out Launch Bay and those, right below this teal space is Roundup Rodeo. So like you said, you connect right into Toy Story Land, and I feel like it gives a lot more better flow to the park, because right now there's a lot of dead ends, I feel like, in Hollywood Studios. So this would actually give you a more circular flow throughout the whole park. So that could be a possibility.
Yeah, because I think it would allow them to open up the area by where Rock and Roller Coaster currently is now. So you'd be able to walk through an area that fits. The biggest aggravation at the studios is you go down to Rock and Roller Coaster or Tower, you have to go right back where you just came. You can't. There's no flow. And I think if they did it over in that way and connected it to Toy Story Land, it just makes a gigantic Pixar area.
Yeah.
Back there, we've actually been backstage there, right by Roundup Rodeo, where that is, where the big Woody.
Before Roundup Rodeo was even there. We were there for the Toy Story 4 press junket a few years ago, and there is a lot of space back there.
There's a movie theater back there, because that's where we actually saw Toy Story 4 was back there. There's a lot of open parking and stuff like that. Easily, and there's a parking garage back there, so there's easily a lot of room there that they could somehow connect all this. I think that's where we're gonna get it. I had heard possibly Rock and Roller Coaster was actually going away because they're having a lot of problems with it from a technical side. That maybe instead of rebuilding the ride, that would be a thing to take it down. But then you got the launch bay there that serves no purpose. Now I could see the launch bay going over in the Muppets area if they wanted to do something with the launch bay, tearing out the area where it's currently at, turn that into the Monstropolis. then maybe move the launch bay over to the other
Just
side.
move stuff around
to connect
basically.
Star Tours and Galaxy's Edge together. So who knows? I mean, I guess we're going to see. It's going to be exciting and interesting, but I don't think this is going to Monster because it's too far away from Toy Story Land. And I think you'd want to keep the franchises under the same umbrella together.
It would kind of be weird, you know, like they have Star Tours and then Monsters and then more Star Wars, then Pixar.
Yeah.
Like if you want to have like, do you guys remember before they did all the revamping over at the studios when Backlot was still there? And
Yes.
everything flowed. You didn't like ping pong back and forth. Everything flowed. And I think that they need to do that again. And if they take our suggestions, then it would work to do that.
Right. Right. Well, but if you look at the way some of the parks were originally built, you know, where you do have those dead ends, everything that's come since has, you know, both entrance and exits on both sides, from starting with Pandora to, you know, Toy Story Land to Galaxy's Edge to like, so yeah, I can't imagine. And if you put it in Muppets Courtyard, it's just going to be an in and out.
Right.
You know, you're coming in the front, you're leaving out the front. There's not going to be anywhere to exit, I feel like, other than that area. One question, I don't know if you guys know, but what the heck is this big giant plot of land? Is that all preserved land that they can't build on? Because this is just next to Rock and Roller Coaster and Lightning McQueen.
Oh, I don't know.
Look at this. Look at that.
That's a whole lot.
So we've actually come in off that Cypress Drive of another event we were at to come back to the tower that way. But I think that's just a bunch of land, and I don't know if they left it open in case for like the road and such to expand on that. I don't know if they ever thought maybe about putting a hotel there, and that's why they left it.
Ooh, okay.
But it definitely could be another area that they could expand out, or without even going into there yet. And they did some of the stuff. It might be a future plan to put something there to expand studios to be even larger. But I don't know.
It could also be there's certain like land that they can't build on because it's too swampy. You know, there's that you can't. There's not it doesn't have a solid foundation on it. So I don't know, but it seems like there's an awful lot of room back there. So.
Yeah, it does, and that's my guess, is it might not be buildable. And then one other thing, just for fun, and I would love to just, maybe this will go viral because it'll make everybody probably as mad as Muppets. Is Fantasmic off limits, or is there a possibility that they would bulldoze Fantasmic? And there at the end of Sunset Boulevard is your entrance into Monsters Inc. land.
I think it's off limits.
I'm gonna say they're gonna leave it, but
that show's still packed every show.
It is. It is. Yeah.
It's never slow.
And it just went through a refurb like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
They had it closed down. But you know, here's the thing. There's a lot of times that what we would never think is feasible or a good idea, especially as fans. And you see, you know, not to get off on a big old sidebar, but you see people that get upset when things we're going to get to that, I know. But, you know, there's certain things that are going to send Disney fans into a complete tizzy. And I don't know how much of that they want to do at this point because of what they're doing over at Magic Kingdom. But again, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree with her 100% on that one.
Well, and same thing, like you're just mentioning with that plot of land, it's so easy for us all to look at Google Earth and go, you guys got all this land. Why aren't you building on it? But we have no idea. Like you said, Michelle, some of it can't be built upon,
right?
You know, because it's still just marshland and swampland. And so it's easy to sit back and be like, well, even the same thing to say, oh man, the front of Muppets 3D sure looks like this concept art, which again, we already discussed is concept art.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
And I don't know if you saw, one of the pieces was signed in 2020 of the Monsters Inc. concept art.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the Muppets area too is based on Streets of America.
Yeah.
Which we lost the majority of that when Galaxy came in. So
we still have those couple buildings right there.
Yeah, so I don't foresee them not being willing to say, you know what, rip it out because we can do this or that. Or I mean, I know they have grander plans than even beyond what we're talking about now. There's always a plan for 5, 10, 20 years down the road of what they're envisioning, what they could do. So,
yeah,
that's amazing.
I know.
But the studios has definitely stepped up to where a couple years ago the studios was a half-a-day park.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's got the most thrill rides. it's
Long
got
lines.
longest lines. That's where everybody wants to go. It's got these rides that everybody wants to do
Yep.
when they're in town, the thrills and stuff like that. And it's just getting even better now. Monstropolis is just going to take that park up another notch.
With that new coaster, oh my
Oh,
god,
yeah.
it's great.
It's going to become a 2-day park eventually, like Magic Kingdom. I think if they keep it.
Oh yeah.
Studios, it's going to be one day. It's going to be your 2-day park, like Magic Kingdom is for, or maybe a 1.5 day Hollywood Studios, 1.5 day at Magic Kingdom. But I foresee that happening in the future because it just keeps getting bigger and better.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I truly hope we don't lose Rock and Roller Coaster for anything. Like if they can get it fit, because I would hate to lose a coaster just to gain a coaster. Like that doesn't make sense, you know? Yeah, it's one thing to lose Backlot Tour and Lights Motor Action and Streets of America to a Galaxy's Edge, but just to swap one coaster for another would stink. And we don't have a lot of those at Disney. So I don't know. Rhonda, are you excited for the next one? Because
what is the next one?
Blue Sky, as we saw it 2 years ago, is becoming a reality with the new Tropical Americas.
Yes,
right?
I am excited about this.
So this is going to go over in Dinoland, Animal Kingdom, which, you know, everybody thought. And when you look at this, I mean, you can see it. You can see Restaurantosaurus to the right, Boneyard, Dig Yard, that's going to be blown out up front. You know, you've got Dinosaur in the top right. You've got the Dinosaur exit shops there in the middle. And then you've got the old Primeval Death Trap and now. So, and, you know, beautiful entrance. And we're getting this hand-carved carousel there that's going to go at the front of the park.
Yes.
Which looks amazing. For this initial announcement, did the excitement seem huge, or do people almost seem like, well, yeah, you had to say this was coming, right? Like this was probably number one we knew was coming.
We knew there was going to be Animal Kingdom. Something had to happen with Dino Land. They have not said anything. The rumor was always about Indiana Jones getting a place back there. We just didn't know exactly what else would be back there, because you can only do so much Indiana Jones in a land.
Well, and then too, what I was surprised at is, you know, we pretty much knew they were going to put Indiana Jones back there, but I had just assumed it was going to be the same as the one at Disneyland, and we found out last weekend it's going to be a completely different ride.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I love that. Yeah, like I guess they finds or unearths the old Mayan temple, and here's that there's treasure, and he's going to go explore it. And I think there was something about some creature or something he might have to fight. And are there a lot of snakes in the one out west? Because are there going to be a lot of snakes in this?
There's snakes in there.
There's snakes in there, but it's that ride out there is so crazy, insane, so much going on at one time.
And really bumpy, you're all over the place.
Yeah, it makes Dinosaur look smooth. I mean, that one is really. Yeah, that one out there, you're going through a lot. It's a lot larger than Dinosaur, I think, also.
And it's rough. The first time we went on it, my son Aiden lost a shoe.
He lost his flip-flop right off there.
He was not happy.
If you're losing shoes on rides, that is pretty. Wow.
Disney gave him a new pair of flip-flops. But yeah, he lost his flip-flop off the side, and they're like, okay, we can't shut down the ride to find a flip-flop. We'll just give you
They gave him new shoes.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I'm kind of glad it's going to be different.
Yes.
Because then you have, even like the rides that we have here and we have out there, even if they're the same ride, there are differences, but this is going to be completely different. And I think that that's a good thing. In my humble opinion, Animal Kingdom needs this.
It needs
something.
They
really bad.
need this. Because it's become a half-day park. We have friends that come to town, and you know, they'll hit up Animal Kingdom in the morning, and they're done by lunch. So I think that this is going to revive Animal Kingdom, start to anyway, and make it more appealing. It gives you all new reason to go there.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It does. I mean, you're super excited for this, right? Are you more excited for the Indiana Jones portion or the? And we love, we love dinosaurs.
I like dinosaurs, so I'm excited for the Indiana Jones aspect of it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna lose it to anybody, let it be Indiana Jones.
Watch your shoes, Rhonda.
I know.
Watch your shoes. Yeah, but and then we're gonna get an Encanto ride through the Magical House, which. Dang. Now they said it was not a boat ride, correct?
Yeah, but it sure does look
Sure
like
does
it from
look
the
like it.
concept art.
Like that's totally a boat. That looks like a pirate's boat or a Frozen Ever After or something.
You know what it could be? It could be like the system, like Haunted Mansion, seats that go through, or Peter Pan.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
what do you call that?
The Omnimover.
Omnimover. Thank you.
Omnimover.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That probably will be hopefully like a Omnimover dark ride that doesn't have projection faces. So at least we know that they're moving towards that technology that
Which is great.
talking about, Michelle. Like,
It's really cool.
I mean, was there any like rumblings of going, why is this Elsa not in Epcot? And when is that going to happen? Because this is embarrassing when you look at our projection faces, right? Like,
well, when you put it like that,
that's a great question. Are they going to replace the ones that are out there with the updated? Yeah, then you'd have to do the dwarfs on the mine train and stuff like that. I mean,
it's the whole thing, right?
But
it looks, just from the concept art, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful space back there.
Yeah.
And much needed. I'm really excited for that because when Animal Kingdom used to be my favorite park, like when we would just visit here. And I don't know, for some reason, I just loved it so much. And then when you live here, it's a little different as a local's perspective. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. And again, much needed.
definitely.
Much needed.
Yeah. Amy brings up a good point that it could be a trackless system like
That's
Rise
true.
or Remy. And with the description of it, right? Because the description is saying that it's Antonio's just received his special gift and his room is transformed into a rainforest. So that could be kind of like, you're going to want to move around quicker than maybe just a slow Omnimover to get through different areas. Good job, Amy.
That's a good point.
I hope they don't do it like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. There's like
The screens.
too many screens.
Yeah.
I hope they do it with actual scenery. You know what I mean?
Actual
like the
sets and
like
such.
the actual set instead of just a screen. But I guess we'll find out.
Well, if you go back to the Avengers ride, did they say anything about? I mean, is Disney done with 3D? Like, did they say anything about that for that ride, or do you think that they're done with 3D and there will be no more?
They didn't mention anything about
They
it.
didn't
Honestly,
say. They did not give us a whole lot to go on.
I almost wish they would after that, like let even if just the media go in a room and actually be able to ask Josh questions and stuff, just like a press conference after an event. Like, okay, you just gave us all this news. Now, what about this? What about this?
Yeah, because we have questions for sure.
Oh, I know.
And they've got to have answers.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've always wondered, I think it's, I think they hold everything so close to the vest because I would say Disney fans can be a bit much sometimes. And that if they show, all right, let's go back here, right? They're going to show this. And if they give more detail than this, when it actually opens, somebody's going to complain that that one building on the far left is not there. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. This is not the concept art we chose.
Yeah. And I think that's why
crazy.
Disney, but I think that's why Disney holds it so close to the vest. They're like, look, we know it's going to change over the period. So let's hold on to as much as we can because we just don't want the backlash of everybody complaining because this turned into this. And literally it's that much,
I think the fans sometimes need the concept art is just that it's a concept, but it hasn't been fully tested out with the space. I mean, it's somebody's vision of what they would like it to look like. But once you get in there and the logistics start becoming and the electrical and the plumbing and all that stuff, and you need to make sure everything flows the way you need it to, things do have to change to make it work.
And for example, so D23 2 years ago, they had the full scale model, the small model of Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah.
And just from memory, the model and what it ended up being are a little bit different. In the model, they have like a lot of trees around with like lights in the trees and like a path and all these things. And that didn't happen for the original, what it ended up being. So you could be exactly right as far as like, you don't want to give away too much because people expect, and people are so critical if it's not just how they think it's going to be. So that could very well be why.
Yeah. I think so. Well, now we really get to get into the fun. Because if everybody watching did not hear yet, Cars Land is coming all places to the Magic Kingdom. So a couple little pieces of art here. There's not going to be Radiator Springs. There's going to be, I guess, they're saying almost on like a stop from Radiator Springs, heading out west or whatever it may be. This is going to have a ride that I guess will be a lot like the one out west, just in a completely different setting. And then it's getting a secondary ride that will be built for smaller kids and whole families. I would assume like the Tow Mater one, or alien swirling saucers for us, probably in that similarity. So I had seen some rumblings when this was coming up that there might be a Cars Land beyond Big Thunder Mountain, because that was our big thing 2 years ago, was what's beyond Big Thunder Mountain. I don't know, maybe this crap. So I saw people start mentioning that. They were like, I don't think there's going to be a Coco Land. They could put cars there. And so was this just a what the heck moment out there? Like, were people excited, confused at the initial announcement?
I think at first they were excited because they probably thought instantly beyond Big Thunder Mountain. I think that's what everybody kind of, when it first announced, everybody, okay, that's what we're going to be on Big Thunder Mountain. And it made sense with the Frontier, because you get that old rustic thing with Big Thunder Mountain, and then to go into that type of what Josh was talking about, I think would have fit perfectly. I don't think anybody expected until Monday came that it wasn't going to be like that.
When they announced that for Magic Kingdom, there was a lot of like gasps in the crowd, because we had heard rumblings about it before, but to hear something definite and that it was going to Magic Kingdom, I think. So when you're in the room, you get all excited and you're all caught up and you're like, yay this and yay that. And it's not until after the fact you like, where is that going to go? And what are they going to do with that? So people were excited, but they didn't say too much until Monday.
Well, they never give us the bad news at D23.
So we'll talk about Monday. Does Cars belong in Magic Kingdom?
I had hoped that they would replace the Speedway with some kind of Cars ride.
That's what
even if it was just still the Speedway, but change all the bodies of all the cars, make them a little bit different to look like the cars. That made sense to go like that. Yeah. But I know they want to do something that's not really the cars that we're used to on the screen. They want to create this one that's rustic and in the Frontier and racing and going through mud patches and all this thing to make it more fun.
I was surprised because if you follow me for 1 second, because I have like a thought. Out at Disneyland, you have Cars Land, but it's in California Adventure, not in the main Disneyland park. So, and it's weird because Disney California Adventure has a lot of the same things like the studio has. It's kind of a mixed bag of things. And then, the other park has the more classic things. So maybe that's where that thought came from.
I don't know.
Because to me, it didn't seem to fully jive with Magic Kingdom. Right. I couldn't put it all together, if that makes sense.
It should have made the studios with Monstropolis, because he would have Toy Story, Monstropolis,
a lot of
and
Pixar
Cars Land.
over there.
It could have just been renamed Florida's Pixar Land.
Pixar Adventure.
Pixar and Galaxy's Edge all in one place, because it would all fit together.
I know. So here is that concept art, and you can actually see, Big Thunder Mountain in the back there, Tiana's to the left. So this was the concept art they released, and then Monday happened, right? And we found out where it is going. And it is going into Rivers of America, Tom Sawyer Island. It will take up this space. I did not do this one. I found this on Reddit, but here is exactly how it fits into that area, which is super interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the way it maintains everything else, it fits right into that area. Filling in, all of Rivers of America, at least this portion. I'm not sure beyond that. And then losing Tom Sawyer Island. And that was really the first major, I guess, uproar of this week before people could start getting, mad about Muppets, was losing, Rivers of America, Tom Sawyer Island. How do you guys feel?
You go first, because we kind of both differ on this one. So you go ahead and go first.
We had a whole discussion about this. We don't agree.
Yeah.
Okay, from my perspective, I have loved Disney since I can remember. My mom taught me to read when I was 2 on a Disney book. I mean, I am true and true Disney everything. And I'm also sentimental. So change is not always good for me. Now, if this makes sense, I don't want to say I don't care, but I'm not upset about Tom Sawyer Island because I haven't been over there in years. but there's something about the river and the ferry boat that, because they do have it in Disneyland, it's just something classic Disney to me. Just something very sentimental and something that is kind of an original because Disneyland has it as well.
Yeah.
So I think I was more upset about the ferry boat, and then standing in line for the mansion, and you hear the toot toot of the boat, and the whole aesthetic of that area. I think I'm going to miss that. But I can't honestly. I haven't been on Tom Sawyer Island in like 4 or 5 years. But I'm gonna miss the boat. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get looking at that area. It's a lot of wasted land. You have all this water. You have a boat that they're really. I mean, yes, there's people that are always on the boat, but there's not a demand for. I mean, it's a lot of times you're walking by. It's like, hey, there's nobody on the boat. Let's go on the boat.
Right.
The line doesn't really get wrapped around it, so the attendance on it probably isn't as much. It's more one of those things that gets more attendance the busier the park is because it's just a thing to do. Yeah. I'm looking at all that land though, where they have as you go in the back behind Big Thunder Mountain, and you see like the little areas they've set up back there with the different animals and people and such like that, just to kind of give you something to look at. It's just a lot, and I'm one of the people, like Walt said, we're always evolving. We always have to be moving forward. And in order to move forward, we do have to lose some things. And it seems like when Disney does take something away from us, it's something that's not as popular as other things in the park might be. So that's why I'm okay with it, honestly. I want to see something new. I think it's going to be something to bring more people. Not that Magic Kingdom has a problem with guests, but it's going to get more people hyped up to go there for something else, something new. Because if the parks never change and we always have the same thing and they never grow, why would you keep going back? You know, eventually, I mean, there is the people who will go back year after year, time after time, and they have no problem. But then the newer generation, I mean, we even have it with our boys sometimes, like, oh, it's boring at Magic Kingdom. I don't want to go over there. You know, it's too crowded. It's too hard to get in and out. It's too all these other reasons. And that might be the generations that are coming up that might feel that way. We're like, well, it's Magic Kingdom. And I loved Country Bears, and I loved the Haunted Mansion. I love Pirates. As long as they don't touch Haunted Mansion, I'm good. If they ever touch that, no. Which I don't think we ever have to worry about that ever.
Yeah, if we're all going, we're all like gonna do something.
But it's also one of the most popular attractions.
Yeah.
And I think when they rip out something, I think if Rivers and the boat and the island were more popular, I don't think we'd be having this discussion right now. I think they'd be building into another area somewhere else. But I just think it has to do with how much it's getting used. When Backlot closed over at the studios, nobody was going on anymore. Nobody was going to the stunt show. And they had to go
until it was getting ready to close. Then everybody
was in it. You had an hour and a half wait to get into the stunt show and a 2-hour wait for the tram just because it was going away. So if people supported that stuff all along, we would never have to have these conversations. They would have to expand the park or make a 5th gate or whatever they'd have to do. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what comes of this. I'm excited about everything at Magic Kingdom, honestly, and we'll see what we get.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how do you feel about losing it?
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ron, I don't care.
I haven't been to Tom Sawyer's Island in a long time. And when we did, I think we took the kids because we were like, let's try this. And it was super cute. And I mean, but I was like, it takes a hot minute to get over there. And then when the boat came back after it was drained, and then, you're like, oh, look, it's really on a track. And, but it was funny because we went and rode it, and I was like, I don't know if I've ever been on this thing. Yeah. And then we like rode it, and I was like, okay. And that's like, I don't know. I just.
Yeah. I mean, I agree completely with Michelle about just the aesthetic of it and the feel and that's what I will miss going away is that portion. Again, not
maybe
that
there'll be a boat
much.
In the Haunted Mansion next to the
park is there.
In the grave,
in the graveyard.
Yeah, in the graveyard.
Yeah. Do that. And then where could you put that? Can we get that boat over to Riverside and turn it into
right?
Well, that's an idea. They could move it somewhere like that, or they could leave it right there and just have it as just sitting there next to the mansion. Yeah, that way we won't lose the aesthetic of that. It's still there. They can still ring the bell or the horn.
Okay,
I have a weird thing when you're sorry, Michelle. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna totally derail you for a second because I know that you scroll the former Twitter like I do. Mm-hmm. So I am sure you have seen the outrage for all of these things. And people are even taking it a step further. They want to petition. They want to fight the powers that be, just like they did with Splash Mountain. And I don't know. I would love to hear your opinion. My opinion is it doesn't matter how many petitions you sign. If you're going to pick it outside the park, Disney's going to do what Disney's going to do. And even though change is hard, because I get it, I hate change. You have to come to a point of acceptance, I think. And I think people that get, this upset, if they're this upset about the river in Tom Sawyer Island, if they actually had to take out something bigger, people would lose their minds. You know what I mean? Like, what do you feel about that?
No, I mean, I agree completely. Like, and Disney's doing everything based on data and a spreadsheet. Like Scott said, if people went to these attractions that close more, they wouldn't be closing. So that's what they're looking at. And you're right, they're going to do what they're going to do. When you see attendance stay either the same or grow or barely drop, when they make these changes, if it took a giant plummet, Disney's going to listen. But just people complaining online is going to do nothing. And it's funny you're saying, Michelle, like, accept it, because I've had this conversation with both of our girls in the past week in certain situations where I was like, look, that something is going to occur. In this case, it is that Disney parks are going to change and they're going to close something that you love or claim to love.
Right.
That's already going to happen for the rest of your life. So you just got to find a way to deal with that.
Right.
If we do, I don't want to lose Muppets. It was the last thing that Jim Henson worked on. It's the last thing left in Disney parks. Do we go there all the time? Heck no. We go once a year. It doesn't mean that we want it to leave, but if I had such a passion about not losing Muppets, then I would have been gone there when we're in the parks 5 and 6 days every month. We would go there, and everybody else would if they felt that same way truly, but they're obviously not. And that's why these things are on the chopping block. Like I said, nobody is worried about Haunted Mansion or Pirates or, because they're not going to do anything with them because they're so popular. So I'm with you on that one. They're going to do what they're going to do.
And I always wonder about some of these people who do go online and we're protesting, we're going to picket, we're going to do all this other stuff online. When was the last time they were at a Disney park, and did they go on that attraction? Or are they just, they see a way to have something that they can try to stir up and start all kinds of stuff online to get people all up in a roar, but they really don't even care. They might even be a Disney fan at the end of the day.
It just seems like a huge waste of time and energy, because you've seen over the years, Disney changes and people don't like it. And they go through all this stuff, and people are still trying to boycott and bring Splash Mountain back. It's not happening. And okay, so if you've read all the speculation, we don't even know if it's going to be Muppets that is leaving. But people are already angry. So if they're this upset about Tom Sawyer Island, can you imagine what's going to happen if they get rid of the Muppets Courtyard? Oh my gosh, people are going to lose it. But you have to come to a point of acceptance. They're not going to change it just because you're mad.
Now, what if they took out Muppets Courtyard and moved that and redid it to fix it up, to make it better? Because I know it needs to be fixed.
It could use a little something.
And they could always do that to where the launch bay was. There's always things they could do that maybe we don't even know about, because they have their ideas on other things for right now, and that is a blue sky idea for down the road. We don't know, but everybody's like, oh, they're going to get rid of Muppets. Well, it doesn't mean they're not going to bring it somewhere else. It just
because there's no Muppet representation anywhere.
Really. That's it. So if that's gone, we lose it, and I don't think we're going to lose it, because I don't think they would do that to the Muppet franchise.
Right. I know, because they try, because every couple of years they try to revive it. They try and bring a pulse back to the franchise.
Why would they put so much effort to try to keep it going? And there is a huge fan base for the Muppets.
There is.
So, and you always see the merchandise. You always see the Imagineering merchandise that comes out for the Muppets and such.
Always.
And Jim Henson has such a huge following that people still love everything he did. And it's part of almost all our childhoods, that I don't see them ever getting rid of Muppets completely. They may move it, but I don't think it's ever going to be gone, in my opinion.
It is weird, though. They don't invest more in the Muppets, knowing that there is such a huge following and how much people love. It's weird that or to, and I've always said this, not to offend younger generations, but I've said this plenty of times to Rhonda. Like, I don't know. Your boys, of course, are a little bit older than our girls, but not by a crazy amount or anything.
Not by much, yeah.
Do they like the Muppets? Like, do they get the Muppets? I feel like younger generations don't get the Muppets humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't
not
think they do.
really. I mean, I never like hear them say like they think the show is cute. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
and they've been in there. But as far as being Muppets fans, no.
They didn't have the weekly show like we had growing
Like
up.
the Muppet Show or the Muppet movies, the Christmas movie, and the different things that they did. Like, I guess, and I'm just speaking for my children. My children
ours are the same.
Right. They don't care.
We had Muppets, we had Fraggle Rock, we had all this
Fraggle
stuff.
Rock. Oh my God, you're dating us.
All this
Oh, I loved Fraggle Rock. I did.
So years ago, we got invited to a DVC event. Me and Michelle, we went. And the most exciting thing to me at the DVC event was that Sweetums was going to be out doing meet and greets. And it was like one of those things that's like one of those, you never get to meet Sweetums.
It's probably the same one that walks around during, at the end of the Muppets.
Yeah.
3D.
Cool.
But he was really cool. But again, I think you're right. It's a generational thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have some kids that are old souls and they like the old stuff, but like Scott was saying earlier, when it came to like Tom Sawyer Island and things like that, they're trying to appeal to another generation as well. I mean, we're the parents, but
we're paying for it all, but the kids have to be happy.
But sadly, we're all getting older, and then pretty soon, like our kids will have kids and all that stuff, and they got to keep it rolling because they're not going to understand. Our likes are not going to be the same as the next generation's likes.
That's right.
Yep. And you're right. That's what they're doing. They're not, Disney isn't making changes in the park for us right now.
Right.
I mean, they're looking at that future in our kids, because they're the ones now that they're going to start spending the monies as we phase out, so I really do think that that's another part of getting things like, Monsters Inc. Land and, and bringing some of these in Encanto, all the latest franchises and bringing those in. And I mean, it's another reason it'd be silly for them not to use IP. They have it. People are familiar with it. It's a merchandise push. I know Cars sells merchandise like crazy, so it makes sense to bring it here. So yeah, I don't know. I was thinking if they could keep Tom Sawyer's Island and make changes to it, what I think would be cool, because we love the Descendants. Make Tom Sawyer's Island
the island
Ardon. Make that Ardon, only because then you could pass from Ardon right into the newly announced Villains Land.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That's a pretty good idea.
That's a great idea. Actually, I like that a lot. You need to write a letter, Jeremy.
Well, we just said that even if whatever we say, they're not going to change it at this point. So it's like, it's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, they're not stopping making Descendants movies, and only make that obviously like the entrance area, and then go into the rest of, our Villains Land. Of course, we had this as Blue Sky 2 years ago, and this is part of the Beyond Big Thunder. We're supposed to get 2 major attractions, shopping and dining. I mean, we've got a castle in the middle. It looks like on the left, you can see roller coaster tracks with like thorns on them coming up the top.
You see the dragon.
You see the dragon right there.
Dragon. And then we got, the thorns down on the bottom left. It looks like over to the right. Is that? It almost looks like some sort of creature, but I can't tell.
Oh no.
And then I wonder if on the opposite side of the dragon, where there's that house, looks like that could be some sort of dark ride. Maybe style dark ride.
Maybe.
Yeah. If it had multiple castles. I mean, I imagine that did this get one of the biggest reactions?
Yes.
Oh yeah. And how they did it was, yes, it was a Blue Sky thing a couple years ago, but so Deadpool came out and did his little number about, the Yeti and all that stuff. And then Josh said, never thought we'd close on Deadpool. And he says, and he starts talking, and all of a sudden the magic mirror pops up, and he's like, Josh. He starts talking, and people went
nuts.
Like,
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Like
I just
Super
got
Bowl
chills.
happy craziness the way it was. Everybody just won the Super Bowl when they announced Villains Land.
Yeah.
But even though they saved that to last, and even though the introduction was super cool and all of those things, they gave us the least amount of information on that. We
Yeah.
saw the picture, said it's coming. Bye. That was it.
Thank you for coming. Have a good night.
Thank you for coming. Have a good night. And you know what? I don't know if it's my eyes or whatever, but that concept art for Villains is a little bit confusing. It's kind of not super clear.
There's no place to walk.
You know what I mean? It's like I don't know where to look. It's like
Right.
abstract art.
Yeah, so this definitely looks like a track here that's wrapped in the. So
It
that
looks like a
definitely could be.
coaster.
So it could definitely be a Maleficent coaster over there because it makes sense that her
Yeah.
dragon's right outside of that.
Oh.
You just wonder what characters are going to be all involved in it, though. Is Hades going to be involved? Is
And how long it's going to take for them to put all this together. And I'm wondering if there's a good reason that they didn't give us details or a time frame necessarily, because they might be still working all that out.
But the best part about a villains area is it doesn't have to look polished and clean and shiny. It's got to look dirty and scary and frightening. So it's that they don't really have to do a lot of work to make it look really polished and everything. So it's just
Not to mention, Epic Universe is getting their what is it, Dark World?
Dark Universe.
Dark Universe with
Yeah.
Frankenstein, all that kind of stuff.
And I think that's why we're getting. I told her months ago. I said, I bet you we get villains because of Dark Universe's announcement. And I think that's why Walt Disney World got a lot of these announcements. Is because Universal's just down the street. It's got this whole other park going. And I know a lot of fans go, "Oh, Disney's not worried about it." Well, I've talked to somebody who is an Imagineer who told me they're a little worried about it, and he assured me they are a little worried about Epic Universe, and they don't want to. They're not thinking they're going to lose 50% of attendance to Epic Universe, but they don't want to even lose 15% attendance to Epic Universe because that would hurt the bottom line of the Walt Disney Company. When you did what $6 billion in sales last year in the parks, 15% is a lot of money, and they can't afford to do that. So they have to stay competitive with Epic. But you know what? The fans benefit from all this. We make out the best as long as Epic and Disney, or as Universal and Disney, keep competing against one another.
Fight it out. We get
fight it out. We win. Fight it out all day.
That's right. Go ahead, have at it.
Yeah. And I mean, do you think that this Villains Land will be the most like scrutinized thing that Disney Parks has ever done? Like, I can't even imagine the magnifying glass people are going to try and put on this one, down to every little detail and all. Like, oh my goodness. That'll be interesting.
I'm excited no matter what they do. I just think it's great. I love Villains. I think this is a new thing that maybe is needed, just a different dynamic than what they usually do.
Right.
You have Small World and Happy over here, and then you're going to have Villains, And
I'm going to Villains.
And you're going to Villains.
Yeah. I'm pumped for that. Now, so I just laid this out too, just for ideas of where it could potentially go. Since we know that Cars Land is taking up Rivers of America and all, you got the rest of Rivers of America there to the north. And I think, if they're going to fill all that in, that's certainly usable land. But that Plot 2 one that I marked out, that would connect it right to New Fantasyland if that is buildable and usable.
Right.
That would be interesting I feel like they would want some sort of direct passage, you would hope, from Fantasyland to Villains Land, maybe.
It would make sense because then you would have you go from like the princesses and everything's happy to this is the area where they want to lure the princesses and princes over there.
If they want to have flow. I mean, everything's all hodgepodgey over at the studios, but okay, maybe I'm just airheaded, not thinking of it right. But when they kept talking about Beyond Big Thunder, I thought they meant behind Big Thunder, like beyond.
Yeah.
Next to it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. And so when I drew this up, I kept everything within the train tracks.
Yes.
Which I think they would do, unless, again, they're going to use the land around it to pull a Pirates of the Caribbean type thing and keep, the entrance and show building within the train tracks. And then you can always, do your little dive under the tracks like they do at Pirates to maybe have show buildings back there.
Well, there's already a walkway underneath the train station by Kiana's.
Oh, yeah.
you go under the train station to get to the back end of Tiana's, where the store is back there, the restrooms are back there, and such. So they could always take a path that way on the other side of the train track to bring us beyond, and then it kind of separates Villains Land from the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah,
being that they're still one and the same, it would be a way to get you kind of you're leaving the park to go to the Villains area almost.
Yeah.
Feeling, but you're still in the park. You're just beyond the train track.
Well, hopefully they're not getting rid of anything else major. People are going to have a meltdown.
Well, and my only hopes with this one is they did say it will be an expansion.
Yes.
You know, so for this part, so even though they are replacing with Cars Land, it does sound like everything else would expand, not, you know, take over anything. So I think that part's really good. But I mean, overall with the announcements, you know, especially with Walt Disney World, were you guys excited? What were you missing? Because I know there's a couple things that, you know, we thought we'd hear about and we heard nothing, and they're just going to go, I don't know, they're in the cloud somewhere now, I guess. I don't know where those ideas are, but is there something you were missing?
Okay, so one thing I would have liked to have seen is years ago they talked about Cherry Tree Lane, Mary Poppins attraction going that. I would have loved for them to follow through with that idea, because when it was announced a few years ago at D23, it had that same kind of reaction like Villains did. People were crazy about it. People were excited about it. You remember when they had the demonstration in the Odyssey Pavilion, and they had, you know, those screens up for the longest time. People were excited about that. And I would have loved to see them pick that back up again, because I thought it was a great idea. And I love Mary Poppins. So I don't know.
I agree.
That was the one I was hoping for also that we didn't get. I really thought that because I know they kept saying Epcot's done, but then they said they talked about the lounge and they talked about the test track. I'm like, I think I announced Mary Poppins is still coming to the UK pavilion. I mean, I think it would have been great, but who knows? Maybe in the future we'll get it.
What about you guys? Is there anything you'd hope to see?
That Mary Poppins for sure. What's going to happen with I mean, can we even still call it the Play Pavilion? Like, is the Play Pavilion completely gone? We still have that whole Wonders of Life building sitting back there that, you know, I don't know if they ever really started doing much with it inside. And then I was hoping, you know, because they extended some of the permits for the spot where Reflections was going in between Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness. Like, I want to know what's happening there. Like, are we going to get another resort? You know, I'm sure it'll still be DVC, but is it going to be the same? Is it going to have a completely new idea? Like, I was kind of hoping to hear something, I guess, there. But otherwise, I'm excited. I mean, is it everything you could hope for to see, hopefully in the next 5 to 10 years, I guess, depending on how long this stuff takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have liked something more Tangled besides the bathrooms.
Oh, Rhonda. Yes.
Sure. Bring up that one, Rhonda. Bring up that sort of stuff.
You would have heard me scream. You would have heard it in Florida if they were putting a Tangled ride here. We totally deserve more than a bathroom. I would love that, but
I am glad they didn't announce any more resorts, because it seems like every time we go to D23 they announce more resorts, and it's like
and they did not talk about resorts.
They didn't talk about that at all. So I'm glad that they were focusing on the parks themselves and not places to stay. You know, because as a local, I mean, I know we're different here, but I'm glad that they focused a lot on the parks for us, which is good.
Well, when I think right now, I mean, even to make that announcement, because I think their occupancy has been pretty low, you know, over the summer. I mean, most places are, I guess, but it'd be interesting to say, let's add more rooms. Michelle, would you be okay if they had to replace Small World with Tangled Ride?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Oh my gosh, you know you would in a heartbeat.
Okay, no. So again, sentimental, don't like change. When I was my first trip to Disney World when I was like 6, maybe, that was my favorite ride. For nostalgia purposes, I don't know if I would like it, but for selfish purposes, I mean, I would love, because if you've seen video of the Tangled ride in overseas, it is amazing. The animatronics are just like the Elsa one I saw last weekend. Very high tech, very well done. The lantern scene in the back is everything. So I would love to see that somewhere. I just don't know if what.
And then you could turn Pinocchio's house into a snuggly duckling.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Snuggly Duckling. There's a whole situation going on right now.
Yeah.
Who do I gotta call?
Well, I've always said this.
Mhm.
Small World doesn't belong in Fantasyland.
Not
It
really.
really doesn't, but Tangled would. So, and I never thought of the Pinocchio house to Snuggly Duckling because I'd always thought, if you converted Small World into a Tangled ride, there is like a walkway. And of course, we just saw all that space behind there to build a Snuggly Duckling back there. Right. So it'd almost be in a wooded area separate from everything else. But not
to mention the bathroom is right next door, so they already have a Tangled bathroom.
Yep, you got a castle. I think it'd be perfect. So we'll just send this whole thing. I'll download this. We'll just send it off to Burbank or whatever, Anaheim, and just say, look, we handled your next D23. Yeah,
I'm gonna protest.
Yeah.
Change it or we protest.
Yeah, make everything happen that we said.
Yeah,
all of it.
Right.
Or we're all canceling our passes. All 4 passes gone.
Gone.
You won't survive without our 4 passes.
Nope. Well, yeah, thank you guys. We really appreciate you joining us tonight and hearing your thoughts on this. I've just been dying to talk to someone in person, or at least through a screen like this, about it in this fashion, instead of just trying to do anything on social media, because that never goes anywhere. So
yeah, honestly, it was one of those things this past weekend. There was just so much, and to actually speak on it instead of write on about it, whatever. Before you go, I do want to mention one thing about last weekend that was amazing. The Richard Sherman tribute. They did a tribute on Sunday.
Yeah.
As wonderful as the Parks panel was, the Richard Sherman, the Jolly Holiday tribute was probably my highlight of the weekend because it was so well done. A lot of celebrity guests, the music of, that the Sherman brothers had put out. There's so much that they've done that I think a lot of people don't even realize that they're behind it. Oh yeah, I was wrecked. I just cried. And they closed out with the room singing "Let's Go Fly a Kite." Yeah.
Yeah, I was standing outside waiting for her because I had a ticket. I decided not to go, and I'm standing outside waiting for her to come out where everybody else is coming out, and I'd say over half the people were still wiping their eyes. You could tell they had been crying. That it was just such a heartfelt. It was like a memorial service.
It was
from everybody I've talked to that was in there. That they've all said the same thing. It was a big memorial service for Richard, and it's well deserved.
Yeah.
And
they've done so much.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason, like I said, being a true blue Disney fan for as long as I can remember, it's almost like saying goodbye to an era.
Yes.
Not just Richard Sherman, because the Sherman brothers are gone, Walt is gone. They showed a lot of old footage of them collaborating and doing all these things. And a lot of the music, they did that as well.
Right.
And they showed an interview with him, and he said that he just wanted to create songs that made people happy. And bringing happiness to people every day, because everybody deserves to be happy. Wow. And you don't see that kind of thing so much anymore. So it's it was almost like saying goodbye to a whole generational thing that we may never see again, because there was so much heart.
I don't think we will.
And so much thought in everything. And the world is way different now. So it was beautiful. It was sad. It was touching. At the end, John Stamos hosted it. Yeah. His voice cracked at the end. Everybody was crying. Everybody was crying. It was beautiful.
I wish they put those out. I wish they put those out on Disney Plus like they did with the Legends. Yeah. I mean, I understand the movie panel or the parks panel, maybe not, but those types of other panels are, I guess it wouldn't be a panel, but that, something like that out there. That'd be amazing.
I hope that they put it out somewhere at some point, because I think it would be really great for true Disney fans to see and appreciate.
It's every time we go to D23, it seems like we've lost somebody else that was there with Walt. Every time we've gone. I mean, the first year we were there, we saw Marty Sklar and Xavier Atencio, and we saw them, and then within not too long after that, they both were gone, and then it just seems like every time we go, somebody else, and now we lost Richard right just a few months
They
ago.
said they had to throw that together pretty quickly, obviously, because he passed recently.
But he deserved it.
They did a beautiful job. I just wanted to mention that because it's just such a huge part of Disney history, and they really did it justice.
That's awesome.
That is.
Absolutely love to hear that. Well, before we go, you guys have some podcasts. Why don't you tell people what those are in case they don't already listen?
Well, we have ours that comes out on Monday nights. It's the Main Street Mouse Weekly Podcast. Monday nights at 7:00. That
which
drops.
used to be our live show. Now we do a podcast version for now. So
And we stole this idea of doing a live show from you guys. So I think the first time we did it, we gave you credit, but we really did. When you guys were doing the weekly live show, I was like, that's a great idea.
You texted me and asked me if it was okay, if I minded you doing that. So
I mean, doesn't mean we're not going to do it again, but our lives are so busy right now that it's easier to record and put something out to make sure something goes out every Monday.
Right.
I have my new podcast, the Daydream Believing podcast, that comes out every Thursday night at 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a collaborative podcast on Wednesday nights, a live podcast show.
Morning.
Oh, Wednesday morning. We record Tuesday night. It comes out Wednesday morning. Sorry. With our friend Greg. And that is more of a comic type of show, comedy.
That's just fun.
It is
wonderful.
fun.
Yeah.
I
I've put it on a couple times driving back from Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll like put it on when we're coming back.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Good job. Well, again, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We got to hook up in the park soon. I'm sure we'll probably see you opening a Food and Wine. We'll be down there that Thursday through Sunday. So, we'll make sure we meet up there and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. All right, everyone. Good night, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.